used to cover the crime scene. The cops worked quickly, trying to stay ahead of the storm. They measured, logged, and photographed as much as they could, but they also had to be careful not to contaminate the location. They needed to rush the investigation without rushing the investigation. Everyone had to park 100 yards away from the body in order to preserve the tire tracks. Everyone, including the firemen, had to wear boots and gloves or have the bottoms of their shoes photographed for comparison purposes in preparation for the eventual homicide investigation. The man had been standing when the first shot hit him. The detectives made note of the dirt the man's heels had kicked up as he fell. It was the kind of detail that a rainstorm would wash away. The man had been shot several more times after falling. Boom, he goes down, the cops thought. Then, when he's down, boom, boom, boom. You could definitely tell somebody wanted to make sure he was dead. And the shell casings are right there, one in the dirt and 3 more in a little indentation in the ground right next to the body. They're all right there. Whoever did this was brazen. It's crazy, not even bothering to pick up the brass. The police put tarps over the tires and sneaker prints, set a tent up over the body, and covered the body itself with a tarp, placing rocks around the tarp's circumference to keep the wind from blowing it away. There was nothing more they could do before the storm passed. The rain lasted for 20 minutes, a half hour at the most, but it was heavy. 40-mile-an-hour gusts shook the trees that stood around the clearing. The temperature dropped by 20 degrees. When the rain stopped, a state trooper named Michael Chervin removed the tarp and went through the dead man's pockets. $64.75 in cash, keys for an Enterprise rent-a-car, a cell phone. His cell phone? One of the officers said. For Christ's sake, you're going to kill someone, take his cell phone. In the man's wallet, they found an ID. Odin Lloyd, 27 years old. The face in the photograph matched the victim's. Back at the station, the detectives gathered around another state trooper named Eric Benson, who called the car rental company. It took a few minutes. Benson paced back and forth with the detectives listening in on his side of the conversation. "Okay," he said. "All right." A strange expression came over the trooper's face. "Oh, really?" he said. "You're sure?" Benson hung up and looked at the detectives. "You're not going to believe this," he said. "The car's registered to Aaron Hernandez." Part 1. Chapter 1. It was November 23, 2006, and Aaron Hernandez's high school football team, the Rams, was suiting up for the Battle for the Bell. Played annually on Thanksgiving mornings, the battle was a grudge match between Aaron's school, Bristol Central, and its crosstown rival, Bristol Eastern. Bristol, Connecticut is a working-class town, football country in the middle of a state where soccer and crew are the suburban sports, and the battle drew thousands of people to Muzzy Field, an ancient minor league baseball stadium that had hosted Babe Ruth at one time and had been scouted as a film location for The Natural. Every year, going all the way back to 1959, bragging rights had been at stake. Would the Rams get to lord it over the Lancers for 12 more months? This year, the stakes were especially high. If the Rams won, they'd advance, for the first time in 19 years, to the state championship. If they lost or tied, it would be the end of their season and the end of Aaron Hernandez's high school football career. The Rams were confident as they ran out onto the field in their red and white uniforms. They had good reason to be. With Aaron Hernandez as their team captain, the Rams had won all but one of their games. Everyone favored them over the Lancers, who had bigger players on their team but had lost 4 of their games that season. Everyone knew that on this day, a win by the Rams would push them into the playoffs. Once again, all eyes were on Aaron Hernandez. Aaron was a quadruple threat athlete. He ran track and was the best player on the school's basketball team. He had speed, dexterity, good reach, great hands. When he played baseball, he was the pitcher. On the basketball court, his dunks were legendary. And on the football field,